wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Yes, it's the world's most dangerous morning show, The Breakfast Club. Charlamagne the God, Jess Hilarious, DJ NB is out, but Lauren LaRosa is in. And we have some super, super special guests, man. Some legends are in the building. Erika Alexander and Kim Coles are
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good morning.
All
Good
right,
morning to
I'll
all.
take that every day.
They have launched the Reliving Single podcast. New episodes come out every Wednesday starting on May 7th on YouTube.
Absolutely.
What inspired the creation of the Reliving Single podcast?
You start.
Well, looking at my Gucci, it's about that time. Right? Why not? It's been 30 years, actually. 30 years, 2 years ago, actually. It's 32 years that we had the anniversary of our show. The problem was it was during the strike. And no one was allowed to say anything about anything that was on a studio and or network type of thing, so then nothing happened. And for a very long time, I was asked about reboot, and I always said
Haven't
no.
we all been asked
I
about
always
reboot?
said no. Yeah,
You
I
have
always
said no, haven't
I
you?
said
Why?
consistently because I didn't want to go. I'm very identified with that character, Maxine Shaw, attorney at law, and I love her. But perhaps, and I always say this very honestly, if I had a big film career or something that would offset it, that would be nice. So it wasn't just a matter of me saying no. I would be stepping into something that I didn't think I could shake as easily as. Other people. And so this opportunity came and was approached by Eric Eddings at Heartbeat. And he said, do you want to do this? I said, no, not really. I don't want to do it. But he kept asking. And I thought, well, maybe it's the 30th anniversary. People really love it. They're doing things all the time. Why not? And it's an opportunity because of you, Charlamagne. I learned very well with Color Farm and you giving us our opportunities with Finding Tamika and also with Kevin with, with the reparations, the Big Payback. That you can go deep in podcasts where you can't do that even in documentary. And with episode after episode, we'd be able to talk. And then they approached Kim.
And I said, yes, I'm waiting. I'm ready. I've been wanting this all along. And I actually think that, this is shallow, I know. I think we all still look good. Let's do the reboot while we
Yes.
feel good.
Come on now.
But listen, everybody's busy and everybody has their own other thing that they're doing. And so this was an easy way to give the fans and the friends of the show a taste of what they want. For sure, everyone will come on the show, and I don't know if I can give away that someone has already come and taped an episode. Smooches, that's the hint. And so it's a chance to go deep. Like you said, we're going to talk about the behind the scenes and the things. And actually, we've known each other for that long. Revelations have come out. Like
That's
things
true.
have come out. Like, I didn't know that about you, Erika. I didn't
That's
know that about this. That was going on behind the scenes. And so the audience will be let in on something very powerful that could not even happen on a reboot. So you're welcome.
So many white shows do it. Scrubs has it with I can't remember the brothers, Donald and
Yep, and This Is Us.
Yes, This Is Us. Boy
That's the
Meets
first
World.
black
Yeah, The Office.
The first black rewatch show.
The
is it?
Sopranos. Yeah.
Yeah, there
We
you go.
are.
Probably
We are the
hosted by
first.
the actual cast members that I can think of. I could be wrong, but I can think of.
I feel so. So it feels like
Yeah.
the right time, and we're having a good time doing it.
Have you guys ever thought about if you did do a reboot, where the characters' lives would be now? Like, what would the storylines be?
I have, and I don't know if I'm right. There was talk on Living Single that Sinclair and Overton would have twins, and their names would be Sincloverton and Overclair.
Oh, that'd be so on brand. So
I
on
go with
brand.
that. We have twins. They're grown up. They're a boy and a girl. They're fabulous. They're loving. So all the things.
Maxine Shaw would be governor.
Yes, and they, probably ruling like she has
right
always
now.
been. Obviously she has to be tied up with TC's Kyle Barker.
Right.
And they had a child on Half and Half. I don't know if that child still exists. I don't know. I mean, that's a good question. She might be in a bar somewhere. I mean, in a Mexican jail somewhere doing her damage, Maybe she was burnt out by life.
Right.
Who knows? I mean, you go that fast pace, you don't always win, and a lot of lawyers burn out. So
I would love
That could be so good because
was about to say.
even Khadijah, what she would have to make changes because there's no such thing as the print industry.
No,
No,
and
in
I think
magazines.
She would be a media mogul,
Yeah.
we suppose. But that's the other thing, too. I remember, the fans always say, where's the reboot? And one time I saw somebody say, no, I don't want to see where they've gone. Because in my mind, they live in a perfect space, in a perfect place. And so anything that we do, there will be somebody who disagrees with it. Well, why is she in a jail? Why, whatever it is. Like there'll be no... it lives in a perfect space where it is right now, so maybe let it be.
Yeah,
for
definitely
now.
the jail storyline. We wouldn't want that.
No, it's
But I
just
think
a
it's like the
temporary
burnout.
situation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Meaning she was having too much fun. I mean,
Yeah.
but why? You're saying something very real. No, fact meets fiction. That's where we are coming in, talking about something that's very fact Maxine Shaw is a fictional character. Eric Alexander is a fact. Eric Alexander in 30 years of living has changed, and we had good days, bad days. We have, ups and downs. And so I'm hoping those characters would have the same things that we had.
What moments on set of Living Single helped shape who you all are off camera? Not just as actresses, but as women that had to navigate fame and friendship and career pressure.
What moments shaped who?
What moments helped shape who you are off camera?
I think we got along really well very quickly. I felt the energy from the first table read. And so there was an energy and a respect and a friendship and a sisterhood and a brotherhood that developed so quickly that that permeated everything else that we did. Like, we would go and hang out together. Erika and TC have the same exact birthday.
Wow.
The same day.
Wow.
John Hinton's birthday is 2 weeks later. So we would go out and like, what do y'all want to do for your birthday? Salsa dancing, let's go. So we became family really quickly. And so I think that helped infuse the energy on the set and in our characters. We really were friends, and we really are still friends. So,
But then we're also, movers and shakers. If you're 23 years old and I'm faking like I'm a lawyer, I have a high school degree. And I think it made me want to level up. I mean, in my reading and how I, approach life, I mean, she was a killer. She was a real winner. So I'd like to say that shaped me a lot. I think it was already there, but I really liked how she had integrity. I don't know. That's a really good question. It really is. Yeah. But I think that a lot of things that have happened after the show have been very consistent with what our characters might have done.
Well, I want y'all to think about that question and unpack it on the Reliving Single
Done.
podcast.
Okay, we're going to think about it and unpack it. That would be a Charlamagne question. Charlamagne has submitted this question
send in a fan
by the
question.
Breakfast Club.
Segment where people call,
I was gonna say.
are the fans and the friends of the show can send in their
True
questions, and so we call it True Blue. Get it?
Tight like glue.
Yeah.
And so we will make sure
I'm
we
sending
submit
it in.
that one. So you heard it here first, and then we'll unpack it further. Thank you. He's giving us homework.
I know. This is heavy lifting.
Erika, or Miss Alexander, what do you want me to call you?
All right.
Okay, Erika.
The great, though. Erika
the
Alexander,
got
the
you.
great.
Erika Alexander, the great, period. I was reading this article on MSN and MSNBC's website, and the writer was talking about how she was late. She had discovered Living Single for the first time a year ago and like deep dived and like went and read conversations around it. And she was trying to figure out why you didn't win an Emmy for your performance.
Oh, that's kind.
And and when I read it, I'm like, first of all, late to the party, but welcome. But I thought about it and I was like, I mean, like, what's that feeling like for you? Because like you said you were how old portraying the character?
23.
23 portraying.
Yeah.
We would have never known. You sold it. You did it. Like the storylines that
Thanks,
y'all
baby.
dived into. You know what I mean? Like, did you
Yeah.
ever feel like there were things that should have happened for you in that role?
For many people, I'm unfortunately in a club that no one wants to belong to, and especially if you think that, and I'll take the compliment and say thank you very much, but I was right alongside people like Cicely Tyson and all these other people who had never won anything for the work that they had done. And Cicely Tyson has since gotten an Oscar, and she got it before she passed, and those types of things. But no, I think blackness, racism, all the disparities, inequities were there, and especially in the early 90s. And I say the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice, the tighter the noose. They don't let you go but so far.
Hell yeah.
And that's real. So it's tough.
It is.
That's real. And so I'm very gratified, but there's nothing you can do about it. There's people like Abbott Elementary and all the other people, and they've come and doing very well. But, being a dark-skinned actress and also being funny and maybe not being the ideal of what they thought funny girls looked like,
Right.
they didn't know what to do with me, and I got offered nothing after I finished that show. Absolutely nothing. No.
As long as I'm alive, I will never understand that, because I feel like we grew up, as far as TV is concerned, in the peak, Black excellence experience of television. Cosby Show was the #1 show in the country. Different World was the #2 show in the country. What more do Black people have to prove
Yeah.
when they got that?
Phylicia Rashad never nominated for an Emmy. Phylicia Rashad, 8 years. I mean, yeah, there's no explanation except for, the gender and race disparities that have plagued America for all this time. And it's not unique among, just political people, creatives. Always, y'all dealing with it now. Y'all in the, so that's what,
Right.
that's our race. Harriet Tubman did hers, that's ours.
How did working on Living Single change your view of Black sisterhood? And did it shift the way you approached friendships in your real life?
Not for me, because I have incredible female relationships. Incredible. In fact, my high school, we just celebrated our 45th anniversary. Last week, I couldn't come because I was headed here for y'all. And so I've already had
That's the excuse you gave him?
I'm coming in next week. I can't come in
next
now.
week, so I can't come today.
I can't fight 2 times. You got me here now.
No.
That was the excuse. I'll see you all at the 50th. I plan to tighten it up so I'm real cute by then. But the point is, I always had really good friendships, and actually, it felt normal to me to be around women that I respected. We're all different, but I respected and loved, and so I had that, and I had that strength. So it just felt like home. I don't know if that's the right answer. What was the question? Did I answer? No. I'm jet lagged now.
You're talking about the family. Sorry, the women friendships.
Right.
You know, I went to an all-girls high school.
Right. So
Philadelphia High School for Girls. Got to give a shout out. And I wasn't good with girlfriends. I always loved boys. I always loved men. I'm a guy's girl.
Same.
I always have. I grew up in Arizona. I'm a tomboy. I always thought
men, by the way.
No, that's not that. It's just that it wasn't.
I'm used to having good girlfriends.
I understand. But for all that I went to an all-girls high school, I didn't necessarily think that I practiced much because that was my preference. It kind of still is. I just think that there was a lot of freedom I thought that men had. They took me for, I don't want to say one of the guys, but once you show you could stand up with them, I got a lot of truth about who I was next to them. And I thought sometimes I was pulling my punches with women. Like, oh, don't say that. You're going to make her feel like, and I didn't have time for that.
Yes, I completely resonate with you. That's how I grew up the same way. I had maybe, 3 homegirls, but I had like 10, 11. I always went where the guys went. I'm hanging on the court. That's how I became so quick on my feet with being a comedian. And, having jokes, throwing them back, they throwing them at me. Guys didn't get offended when I'm joking with them. You know, girls, they're a little bit more, and I'm saying they, like I'm not one.
No.
When you talk about women a tongue, girl, it's like, you kind of, you like
and
one
you
of the
feel very
boys
protected in that
Yes, you
space
do.
too. I feel very protected and
and
loved.
respected. They do respect you. They
respected,
look at you
yes.
like, oh yeah, that's our
That's our
girl,
girl. Yeah.
So I've been like that as well. What I wanted to ask was, do either of you think that Friends, the show Friends, truly owes some of its success to the groundwork laid by Living Single?
100,000%. 100,000%. Moving on. Next question.
No.
Here's the thing, and I always, this is a little fact that most people don't know, is that the president of the network, of their network, NBC at the time, had been asked if there was any show that you wish you could have purchased for this, upcoming season. He said, I wish I bought Living Single.
Wow.
And then a year later, there was Friends. And so it absolutely tracks. And great show, and wish them all well, but it absolutely was we influenced them. And it was also tough because, we were both Warner Brothers production. We were on this little ranch lot, off to the side, and they were on the big lot. We have a cafeteria, and you have little bicycles to get from hither and there. And the salary disparity was huge. Very different. The access they had to marketing, the access they had to all the money and all the things was very different than what we had.
Yeah, we had craft service table run by this beautiful old white dude named Pops, and he's putting things out like Ritz crackers and pickled eggs, and we're like,
a bowl of eggs.
dude, we gonna fart all day. We trying to
got
work.
better.
I mean, it did get better. We had to ask for that though. We had to ask for air conditioning and all these other things.
Ask for better trailers.
Shouldn't have to. I just come from the Cosby Show, the biggest show in the world. I wasn't expecting it to have that kind of, leverage. But you did know when you thought you were being treated less than. And they didn't have to, because like a lot of productions, if you put very little into Black people, we give you more. Black showbiz gives you more. And when they see that, the investment's not necessarily there, and that's what you really miss out on.
Did Living Single did it get pitched to NBC? Because it would make so much sense. Because like you said, you were on the Cosby Show, the success of the Cosby Show in different world. NBC should have stood for nothing but colors after that. What success?
Nothing but colors.
I wouldn't have got nothing but the Black show.
Nothing but colors.
If I was NBC.
And that's not what didn't happen. Actually, the good thing about it, if you listen to the show and watch it, Kim has the origin story. Kim is the origin story.
Okay.
The show was created around Queen Latifah and me. A lot of people don't know that. They called me into a meeting at Warner Brothers, and we want to do a show. And a lot of people don't know this either. The idea for the show, the impetus was, remember the movie Jungle Fever?
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a scene that they call the War Council, and it's a group of women sitting around talking about men and relationships and what they're dealing with. And they said to me, and I'm assuming they said to Latifah too in a separate meeting, we want to do a show that's about this. And I said, if the show is about bashing men, I'm not interested. And not that scene in Jungle Fever was only about bashing men, but they were handling a particular topic. And they were like, oh, okay, because I love men. And so if we can talk about the relationships and, the growth and, being driven and what do you want? I was like, I'm in. And they were having the same meetings with Latifah. The two of us were put together. And then we together agreed that Yvette Lee Bowser should be the one to create the show.
Wow.
So to be there at the beginning and to be involved in creating Sinclair and involved in knowing what the relationships were going to be to start with, and then to hear it and watch it unfold was exciting.
Yeah.
To say the best. And privilege.
And
I'm not
it's
gonna get that
unique
privilege
too. We
very
got to
often.
give her props because both she and Latifah asked for a black showrunner.
Yeah.
There are very few black
Especially
anythings in Hollywood or writers, let alone a showrunner. Yvette Lee Bowser happened to be on Different World doing her thing. She was on Hanging Mr. Cooper. She had the background, but they weren't necessarily going to just give that to her.
Right.
So you guys
somebody
asking,
black and somebody female, that was a
that was
bonus.
like a
Right.
yeah.
They just gave into that because during that time I feel
Well,
like
they
there
gave
would have
us
been
a
some pushback.
list, and if you get two people that you've created a deal around, and we both go, yeah, she's the one. They go, okay, well, let's give her a shot.
Wow.
And also the other piece of it that we both were at the same agency, so our agency helped, and Yvette was also at the same agency.
It's called a Hollywood package.
Got you.
And so was Kim Fields in that agency, and so was John Hinton. The only two people not in that agency were me and TC.
So did you guys talk, because a lot of times now on TV, people are like, we should have conversations behind the scenes, rally together, and then go to the forefront and ask for what we want. Did you and Queen Latifah, y'all agents, get to do that?
We did. So that list and us, we each met with her separately, and we both together said, "Oh, she's the one. Let's go with her."
Got you. Thank you.
And then the agents do their movements, that we do know about and that we don't know about. But yeah, there were, like, for example, the name of the show was not originally Living Single. It was My Girls. And I tell a story on the podcast of, we were like, they wanted to change the name to Living Single, and we thought it was horrible. Who says that? Nobody talks that way. What's up? I'm living single. It's like the words didn't match. And so I have a memory, and Dana would have to correct me, if we got into a little golf cart and went from the plantation lot where we were and took it over to the big lot and got invited into the office of the president of the network, president of the production company.
Like you're going to Oz.
Right, like,
Oh, they got bottled water here.
right. We get some snacks.
Got bottled water here.
By the way, we think that
Exactly.
name is horrible. We would like to protest. And he was like, all right, well, thank you very much for giving your, and I think
Feedback.
that came, thank you for your feedback.
Right.
All right now. And it was like, oh, that's a terrible name. Now it's the best name. Like, what else would the show be called?
You basically patted you
He
on
said,
the head and said,
all right
good
now.
for you, and
Off
then
you
sit
go.
you
We got
back.
back in the golf cart and went back
Stay.
over to the other side of the hill, So,
I can't wait to hear the episode with TC Carson, because he's spoken about being fired from Living Single after for their treatment compared to Friends. Right. So how did the cast as a whole feel when he got fired?
There was grief.
Okay.
There was a lot of grief.
Did anybody fight for him? Or?
Well,
I
they
fought for him.
Okay.
We all
Then we
fought.
go on. Come on now.
We all fought for him, but it was done before. Here's what the timing of it is. He was let go just before they call the announcements for the shows the upfronts. We all come to New York. There's a big announcement. We're on stage with Fox and all the other Fox shows. I didn't find out until in the hotel room, the day before. Oh, by the way, TC won't be there. He's been let go. So it's like we're talking to Yvette, we're talking to people and going, what's going on? And it was, my understanding is that it was already done. So you fight for him, but I don't know what else I could have done if the decision had already been made.
I wanted not to come to work. I wanted to. It was. I thought that once we got on set that we would talk about it and maybe just say we were not going to work. That's like hardcore, but it didn't go down that way. And in fact, 2 years before, I had tried to leave myself and got threatened to be sued. So I already stepped up, and I knew where I
Why did you
could
want to
go.
leave?
Girl, I was like,
No,
here
go
we
ahead. I was
go,
gonna ask him,
Lord.
but you did. Go ahead.
I'm doing an interview now.
I wasn't. Oh Lord, see, I don't want to start crying. I wasn't happy, and the thing was, I didn't think that I was being used well. And it's a longer story to that, and I don't want to. It needs more context. for Yvette Lee Bowser's sake, because Yvette Lee Bowser had a lot to do with 6 different characters.
Right.
And there were lots of things going on. But also I want to say something that emotionally, a month before I got that show, originally the pilot, my father had passed. I had a lot of things that I...
Dealing with mentally.
Yeah.
And we didn't know that, Erika. This
I
is one
know
of the
I
revelations.
never
I'm
talked
ta-
about that mess. But
The whole time you were there, you never talked about your father passing away?
no, because I don't complain. I don't talk. I do my work. And I keep
we
it
knew
moving.
that her father had passed away at some point because we talked, but
Yeah.
I don't think I knew that had happened a month before. And
Yeah.
to know that this is one of the revelations that happened on this podcast, it's like therapy. You're welcome. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
so-
and no, but there was a lot of things going on that you think you want to talk about differently, maybe with your character, and maybe the reception wasn't where I thought it was, but I just said I gotta go because I'm like I'd been in theater and been doing other things, and I said I can go back to New York. I don't need this, and it didn't work out the way I got threatened to be sued and all that.
Which is another reason you probably didn't tell everybody what you was actually dealing with, because they'll do stuff like that. We'll sue you. We'll fire you.
Exactly,
There's
and
no
I'd never
space for you to
gone.
do it.
I didn't have the most powerful agent. I didn't have that. I'd always gone on sets alone.
Right.
So I was there alone in that, just trying to think it through. And I thought at the very least I could just go back to what I was doing. Now back to TC, because that's what I think that he didn't have, that we didn't have the armor, and we also were darker. And I have to say, there's something to that, feeling like you're unprotected.
Yeah.
And when you get back and there is no plan, and you don't necessarily, friends had gotten together and they all got together to talk about their salary. They stopped going in and they got their salaries corrected tremendously.
Right.
It wasn't that feeling, although we were all rebels and very supportive in our own way. I don't think we knew what to do. And it hurts my heart because TC deserved more support. And there was nothing I could do. And I even said, look, fire me. I'm the one who would like to go. And it wasn't something that could happen. And it was wrong to do. It was wrong to do that to him.
Was he mad at y'all because he spoke up for the treatment that, the unfair treatment that y'all was receiving, and you would think that would be a collective thing, like, none of y'all gonna got my back?
So if this is happening behind the scenes, and if you don't know, okay, we know that we were not getting the right treatment. If the decision to it's not like we were brought into the meeting, by the way, we're going to let TC go. It's not like I didn't know that. Latifah didn't know that. We didn't know that in advance. It was unexpected. And you wait until we arrive in New York to go, by the way, TC won't be there because of this. Dana and I get on the phone and go, what the hell's going on? We get on the phone with Yvette, and Yvette is like, that's it. I didn't know there was something else that I could do in order to bring him back. If it's been, if you're being told that it's done, that's it, deal with it, and we don't go to work.
But that's because we were young. Of course, there's something we could have done. If we all band together and said we're not going in, we could have made something happen.
That was not
we could have
ever-
called the NAACP. We could have done these things, but these are things that we didn't think about.
Yeah.
You didn't know how much leverage you'd have after that. I'm telling you that I know I fought. I know I sat down with Yvette. I know I had these conversations, and I don't think he knew that. And it took years, and we had a conversation where he said, why didn't y'all stick up for me? I said, that's not true.
That's not true at all.
That's not true at all. And I hate that you went all these years thinking that didn't happen.
Yeah.
But it's also his story to tell.
Yeah.
And there's some parts and pieces that he thinks went a certain way. And there's certainly, I feel very much my outspokenness might have put him in a position too. He thinks his outspokenness, but I was very outspoken.
Yeah.
I was writing letters to the network and doing coups and walking out, and I don't think that was necessarily always taken well by people who want to control you. And they broke apart the two people, me and him.
You think
And it's
that
also, there's another story to tell. There's
a
our
rebuke.
story, there's his story, and then there's the story on their side. And maybe this is a conversation that, I don't know if Yvette has ever talked about it publicly. I don't know if Warner Brothers ever would, or if they ever care to. So I feel like
Well, all those people are
we're
gone
bearing
now
the-
from Warner Brothers that we
right.
knew.
But we're bearing the burden of why didn't we do something different, and not getting a chance to get another view from what was happening. From
Yeah, because they were saying it was a
what did-
money issue. It's not a money issue.
Oh, that's what
We
we
weren't
were
being
told.
paid
It's a
enough for it to
budget.
be a money issue. It wasn't a budgetary issue. It wasn't because we brought on a new cast member and we brought on E. Dallas. And so that's not true. I don't know what's true. All I know is that he was gone. It was right. And let's go on record to say he's a magnificent actor, always on time, always knew his lines. It did not make sense. And you're living in a world that doesn't always make sense, and certainly is not fair.
on the podcast.
If y'all had Instagram, would you have gone live and just aired out
absolutely.
the whole cast? And
We
I
had
would've.
nothing back then. We had nothing back
I
then.
would've.
Of course we would have. Of course
I
we
would have. I'm telling you, I would have.
Don't do that. I did that. I did that the other week, couple weeks ago.
Oh no, do it.
I just did that. Erika Alexander the Great. I just did it.
Come on, Jess
Did it.
Hilarious.
Yes. And
You know-
people, and I didn't think that my badge was gonna work the next day because I came in
Tap.
and I came in here speaking to everybody, nobody speak back, and I knew why.
that's a lie.
Whatever. No, you did. You say, give me a hug because he knew he was going to send it to the fire.
I said, y'all walked in laughing and joke. I was so mad. Like, what
And
they
then
laughing
she
about?
shut
Ain't nothing
the
funny.
elevator on me. Envy called me whack. It was a lot going on.
But
But
nobody, it's gross.
Was this not a conversation you could have had privately with them to fix what needed to
She
change?
had me try it.
we
She had me
had
try it.
this
She had me try it.
conversation
Okay.
before
Go
and
on.
after that. So yeah, I wasn't wrong. It was wrong the way I did it. But
Look at how
Did the negotiation work for you? Did that
Period.
tactic work for you?
Yes.
That's what.
Here we are family.
we're family.
We are here and we
It's
are
like
family.
siblings.
I had
That's what makes family.
Yeah.
It's conflict.
Yes.
We don't go through this life with everything collaboration, conflict, and confusion
Yeah.
leads to confession.
Yeah.
We got that.
Period.
That much
Conversion.
confusion. Okay.
They got to go do Sherry, Lauren.
And compassion.
Oh, man.
You get some
Yeah.
compassion in that mix.
You got to do the
on.
ladies.
I know.
I will come on the
You don't got to
podcast,
answer this, but I
please,
hope y'all gonna get into the beauty center and the weight loss stuff that Queen Latifah talked about that they threw on you guys.
Oh.
Make sure y'all get into that in the podcast,
Oh, we
please. I would
will.
love to
Sure.
hear the conversation.
Absolutely.
And they said they're gonna have me on there.
Absolutely,
Okay, good.
please.
Yes.
Oh, please.
She said, "Have me too," or she gonna go back live again.
Let's do it. Let's do it. You're all
You're
welcome.
welcome.
Thank you. That would be our pleasure.
Thank you.
The legends, Erika Alexander and Kim Coles. Make sure you check out the Reliving Single podcast. New episodes every Wednesday, starting this Wednesday, May 7th, on YouTube. And yes, I am going to talk to Erika about getting the audio on the Black Effect. God damn it.
Yeah.
That's what's
Do we
up.
have to protest to make that happen?
No, you
Okay, that's
don't.
gonna happen.
We
You
can
don't.
speak to the man,
It's
the
the
power
Breakfast
man.
Club.
Yes.
Wake that ass up.
In the morning.
The Breakfast Club.